Welcome to Lost on Ice, the show about the show 20 years later. Today, we're talking about Season 2, Episodes 19 and 20. I'm Will, also here is Ben, and you can watch full video episodes of the podcast on YouTube. Ben and I also release a bonus hangout show every single week that can be found at patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. Ben, this week we're talking about the show's best character, the return of the show's best character with the world's best swag. Very excited.
Yep. We all love him. The best yields the worst. I'm going to make up another phrase since on the last episode.
The best yields the worst. I love that.
Would you say I'm supposed to say the presence of mind instead of the place of mind?
Yes, that's correct.
Fine. Okay, well, what
Has that been bothering you this week?
Yeah. What should I say instead of the best yields the worst?
I think
What's
that's
the
great.
phrase for that?
I think the apple fell really far from the tree. You could do something with that.
Apple fell long ass way from the tree.
Hard men create soft men.
Sons?
What's that thing? There's like soft.
I think it's like good times make bad men.
Hard times create hard, tough, strong men. Yeah, whatever. Let me check all of the Reddits that I'm currently subscribed to. What people are saying shit like that all the time. No, okay. So we're talking about, of course, Christian Shepherd. I want to say Christian Slater. No, yeah, Shepherd. Christian Shepherd. He's the man. It's a little on the nose to call somebody Christian Shepherd. I'm just realizing.
Oh yeah, I never thought about that. Yeah.
But all right. Anyway, season 2, episode 19, S.O.S. Let's go. Bernard and Rose are seen meeting for the first time when he helps get her car unstuck from the world's warmest, wettest snow. This was really sloppy, wet snow.
Where were they supposed to be? I didn't quite catch that.
I assume New York, because they go to Niagara Falls later.
Okay, sure. That's fine.
And it's snowy-ish. He kind of seems like a New York style guy. I don't know why.
I guess, yeah. New York transplant, unlike me. That guy's definitely a transplant. Midwest transplant.
Also living not in New York.
Not a lifelong. I live in New York. I live in what is called the New York metro area.
Okay. Does that seems like people will yell at you for saying that you live in New York and you live. Come on, you can't. They yelled at
Who's gonna yell at
your guy, Eric?
Yeah,
Eric Adam?
Exactly. More proof than anything else. You don't have to live in New York to be the biggest New Yorker.
That's true. Yeah, nothing going on with that guy.
New Jersey's on a good streak for New York things. You know,
mm-hmm.
we have me. We have all of the football teams. All the New York football teams are based here. The mayor of New York is from here too. So, yeah.
How are you holding up, by the way, with all that's going on?
I gotta check in,
Mayor Adams.
I gotta check in. I've been distracted by hurricane news. Which might be...
yeah. How are you holding up with that? Gosh, sorry.
Well, I don't live near any of the hurricanes, so I don't know.
Okay.
I said I got distracted.
Focus on your mayor, big dog.
It's also happened in the past.
Things up. Yeah, this is also a month old at this point that anyone's hearing.
Just forgot.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Rose, initially reluctant to accept Bernard's help, ultimately manages to free the car with his support. And I don't know. You and I have done our fair share of winter driving, and we know that Bernard is absolutely right here. That you don't just slam on the gas and spin your wheels. You gotta ease into it.
Yeah.
In return for his assistance, she offers to buy him a cup of coffee.
Not really. I think she's
just
interested in him.
Yeah.
She asked him out. Sorry, Wikipedia man or woman, once again.
Yeah, first time being in love, my guy.
Yeah. Get off Wikipedia.
Get off Wikipedia and go Get in love,
Nobody's ever gonna use
loser.
these. Who's ever gonna use all these write-ups that you wrote about all the episodes? Nobody.
Nobody. And even if they did, they would rewrite them at least because it would be a hack to just read Wikipedia on a podcast.
They'd write them in their own words, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It gives us something to talk about other than the thing that we're here to talk about.
Yeah.
Bernard and Rose are lunching with a view of Niagara Falls 5 months after their first meeting. We get an age reveal about Bernard.
Oh, I'd missed this.
If you remember, you said that this guy is 80 years old.
He looks like it.
Whoa, brutal.
What's
He's
he
56, which is exactly what I said. Middle aged.
It's not people, okay. People talk about it now, and I kind of am. I'm not really interested in knowing the right answer, but just vibe based, I kind of
No
I
shit.
agree with this. I think people do like look younger now. They do you look not younger now. Even now, 2024 versus 2004, I think people are looking younger, and I think it is because I think people drink a lot more water. That's the possible conspiracy thing that I believe. The second part, I don't know if it's the real thing, but it seems like it could be reasonable. But like,
That
yeah,
does actually sound reasonable, mostly
that
because
guy
I think
seemed
I'm kind of bracing for like this can break in so many different ways. Not that I expect that from you, but just like the people used to be, people be now kind of thing can be can be kind of tough. But yeah,
oh,
I
sure,
think people probably do drink a lot more water
because that
now, and
guy that guy's an 80 in 2024.
he is not.
Not an 80, but I would peg him at approximately
We're not doing this again.
60, 68, 65-ish, or 70, but probably like 65 to
I could
68.
see 60s. And this is again very rude to the gentleman who played him. But
He's
uh
a I'm speaking truth to power. That guy's much more powerful than me. He's a famous lost actor, and I'm just a lowly podcast co-host.
Dream big, dream big. Okay, so at this point, Bernard proposes to Rose, citing that they fell into this rhythm. Rose, without giving an answer, reveals that she is terminally ill with cancer and has a year left to live, perhaps slightly longer. Bernard nevertheless reaffirms his proposal, to which Rose responds with an affirmative. It's
Once again, people like last week, people really trying to do the marriage to save a relationship or whatever
That's not
situation.
what's happening here.
I know it's not, but I'm gonna
This was a
kind
sweet
of say
moment.
it is
It
anyway.
was it was sweet.
Yeah, I guess he did it
Rose is kind
well.
of pushing him away.
Kind of pushing him
She's kind
away.
of pushing him away because she's worried that, like, are you sure this is somebody that you'd want to be with, somebody who's terminally sick? And I thought he kind of gave a swagged out answer a little bit. He's like, "You never answered my question."
Yeah, that's a good answer. I agree.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. He also did a good job of planning it. He didn't get like the music. It's too much for me. But if you're gonna do
Any
that,
listeners are thinking of proposing to Ben?
just
Please take
don't do
notes.
that. He he got them to play it pianissimo, very quiet, which was nice. But I would still say cut out the cut out the music. I'm also not a trying to think if I guess I kind of knelt on both of my knees to Shelly when I proposed to my wife. I kind of got down on both
Did you do it in
knees.
public? Which
No.
you got on both? Why'd you do that?
Well, we were kind of she was kind of we were already kind of sitting down, and so I just kind of like pivoted into a
Kind of fell over a little bit.
we kind of pivoted into like a kneel. We were sitting next to each other
Mm-hmm.
on in a low seat, and so I kind of pivoted into just being on both of my knees. Now that I think about it,
I had already
yeah.
spent I was doing a Martin short the entire time and had spent my entire relationship on my knees in shoes already. Put some shoes at the ends of my knees. And so she wasn't really expecting me to get even lower. So I kind of squatted down a bit.
Did you
Uh,
did you one do one
I
knee,
did I
two
did one
knees, zero
knee.
knees
I did
sitting.
one knee, but immediately after like a sweaty dude with his shirt off came like through. He like came through the where we were hiking, which is, it's not a spot that's just for me, but it did. I we did kind of just awkwardly hang out until he left.
Nice, very nice.
Yeah,
Anyway,
I did the one knee.
I'd give Bernard's proposal 7 out of 10.
I'm gonna give it higher. I think it was really well. I think it's really, and for listen, for like folks of that age too, it's really cute. Like, he said it's like I spent 56 years and everything, and I find my soulmate. Like he's kind of like he's he's a little bit older, and um, I can see how somebody who's like been a bachelor that long might be like, I don't know, like jaded, or like, I don't know, they're set in their ways, or they're, I don't know. They're
Do you think he
they're
was?
isolated or something. But
Do you
like
think he?
it's a very romantic gesture to do,
Hmm.
and like of that generation, I think that is like that would be meaningful too. Is
Do you, do you think he was a messy bachelor or like a very tamed, a tamed bachelor?
girl, what are you saying?
Do you
Was he a
think he?
messy bachelor?
Do you think he was? How do you say it? Like a is he a domesticated bachelor or undomesticated? Old guy living alone forever. Do you think his his apartment looked like trash and it's
No, I think
messy
he had it
everywhere?
together. He had it together. He had like the scarf. He had like the nice coat when they first met.
Mm.
He's he seems like somebody who um had, like, he's somebody like, I have my life together. This is what my life is. I'm not expecting to meet anybody. Um, I've kind of come to peace with just, this is how I live. But like he's got his own goals and he's flourishing in his own right, and then happens to meet somebody he falls in love with, and you know, takes to the next level. I think it's really sweet. I think it's really sweet. And this whole episode is a little bit of like the arc of like they're miscommunicating. He's kind of seeming like an asshole in places, but like I
Yeah.
really like the resolution to the episode, and ultimately huge. I ship Bernard and Rose.
It step back slightly. Why would Rose have asked him on the street for help with the car? You're gonna ask it again. I
No, no,
know
no.
maybe not
He
factually.
helps. He volunteers help.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
He's like, you can't get out doing it that way, or something like that.
Hmm. So I'll be like,
He's
thank,
mansplaining Snow.
thank you, sir. I'm attracted to you, sir. Can you stand here so I can ask you on a date later? But you appear to be approximately 65 to 68 years old, and I'm worried about your health pushing in the snow. A lot of people have heart attacks shoveling snow.
Very true. Okay. The over under on me like going out this winter is like, I'm not really sure how over unders work, but
Yeah.
folks, you can maybe it might be a closer bet than you think, because I'm never angry when I'm shoveling snow, and my driveway is fucking enormous and it sucks shoveling out there.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to snow blow. I could get into it. This is the kind of stuff you can find over on the Patreon. I talk about uh the kinds of things I do on my driveway. Okay, on their honeymoon, Bernard takes Rose to Australia to see a faith healer, Isaac of Uluru. Rose becomes angry and says, I have made my peace with what's happening to me. However, Bernard succeeds in persuading Rose to talk to Isaac, who states that his office is on top of a place of great energy, perhaps magnetic or geological. It's very interesting because the island,
Or vibe based.
or just kind of, energy. Yeah, but the island has strong magnetic energy that we know. That's for sure. And perhaps other types of healing energies as well. Isaac says that he will attempt to harness the energy that he will attempt to harness that energy to give it to others. However, he says that he is unable to help Rose because the energy in Australia is not the right kind for her, which I've noticed being there a few times myself.
Yeah, you're more of a New Zealand type person. This needs New Zealand energy.
I've not been to Australia. I feel like I would like it there. It seems crazy. It seems like the Texas of continents. I don't know.
Is it? It's mostly outback. Everybody lives.
Texas is pretty outbacky.
Is it? Are there lots of abandoned? Like, is the vast majority of Texas just abandoned, uninhabitable?
Yeah, like West
It is?
Texas. I don't know about the majority, but like West. I mean, yeah, I think so. Yeah,
Okay. I mean, like 90% or
it's not like
something,
us.
5% of
Australia's
Australia. But
an
I
extreme.
get,
Yeah,
I get it. Then I thought that Texas was
but
just
also like culturally too, or like vibes
sprawling
based. Like the
suburb now.
people, it's a little bit like they're on some shit down there, down under. I appreciate what they're doing down there. I think Aussies, you guys are cool. He even offers to return Bernard's money. I have to stop saying Bernard. He offers to return Bernard's money, but Rose tells him to keep it, saying that she will tell Bernard that Isaac fixed her so that Bernard will stop trying to save her life.
Yeah.
You see him like out squatting by the road, like talking to a little kid very sweetly.
Yeah. I gotta say, I'd be pissed if I was, Rose, and this guy's doing this stuff, you know?
He should tell
We
her.
already talked about this,
Yeah.
you know? We already talked about it.
Yeah.
I think I'd be annoyed. I get that when people in real life or fictional life are pissed about the people that haven't accepted that they're going to die when they have yet. Like, come on, my dude. I figured this out on my own. You gotta you gotta catch up. I'm not doing this weird stuff for you at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. In the airport, Rose drops her pills while waiting for a boarding call. Locke, still in his wheelchair, returns them to her. This is my opportunity to tell you about my story this week. I was in the grocery store the other day, and there was a guy behind me online who looked like a pre-crash John Locke.
That's a little rude, but okay. Oh wait,
I
pre-crash. Oh, balding head. Oh no, he's a guy in a wheelchair. Is that what you're saying? I'm confused.
He was in a wheelchair, but he also looked like John Locke. He also looked like
Okay,
him.
sure.
It was a little rude
I
of me to say it like that.
I wasn't sure because most of the flashbacks with Locke are him walking about,
With some hair, yeah.
also looking like. Is this in the future? This man's looking approximately 62 to 65 in my mind.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in just so people don't think that my story was just like I saw a guy in a wheelchair.
Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're good. I just this is for my own reputation. I'm trying to salvage you. But I was buying buying food, as I sometimes do, and as I was like unloading stuff onto the conveyor belt, the guy it wasn't a wheelchair. It was one of the like the motorized scooters. They have.
Scooters, yeah.
Yeah,
Which I think Locke should have had, to be honest. He gives
they
me that
seem like
vibe.
fun. They seem great.
Yep.
But I don't know. He's under his own power. I think that's thematically consistent. But anyway, this guy was like just inching super close to my like heels. Like every time like I like move forward like an inch to like lean over to grab like something, he would like just like close the gap. And I'm doing all sorts of weird contortions to like put stuff onto the conveyor belt like around him
Yeah.
and stuff. And I'm like, not that I would ever like really say something or like I don't know, try to give somebody a stern look, but I'm especially not going to give like a guy in a wheelchair
Mm?
like
You're not willing? You're going to treat him differently? You're not willing to say, get the fuck out of here.
I
You're not
guess
willing
I'm
to
not, dude.
tear
Yeah.
down. I would,
Yeah, this
no
is
matter what, you would be in a hospital bed behind me.
Yo, scoot, I'm walking here.
I'm always trashing people in public.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of my
Yeah.
space.
I mean, I'm trying to be accommodating, but
Okay.
he is like, he's like, I'm like to the point where like I'm pushing my cart forward and like putting like the cans of chickpeas and things like that. Like I'm like leaning like around him, like I'm like, and I'm still like not making eye contact with him because I should have. I don't know. Maybe he was trying to get my attention. I don't know. But then get to the point where like I'll go down to the other end and start bagging the groceries, and I put them in the cart and everything, and the way that this is arranged, the card terminal, the keypad and everything like that, or the pin pad, it's back a little ways, like past the bagging area. But he's like pulled up to it, which like maybe I should have just been like, I mean, hey man, if you want to pay for my groceries, go for it. I'm buying dog food. This is gonna be an expensive run. But like he's like fully like in the way, and I can't reach it. And for a brief moment, I was like, should I try to just like? I would literally have to like lay on the conveyor belt, basically, like lay across the bagging area, and like put my card in the terminal, like in his face, basically, just like like that. So eventually, I had to be like, excuse me, I'm sorry. I need to stand where you are right now so I can pay for my groceries. And he gives me the biggest like and then beep beep, beep like reverses a little bit.
Why'd you
So
have
I
to put it
did.
like why'd you have to put it like that? Why'd you have to say, "I need to stand where you are"? And why'd you have to have
I don't
why'd you
think I
give him that
said Stan, but that's
weird
yeah.
why'd you give him that weird look where you said, "I
I
need to
said I
stand"?
need to walk over there and stand where you are.
This guy is making fun of you on his podcast right now. He's like, "Damn, dude. People like
I'm
this,
like sweating. I don't mean to be
they're
making fun
so
of this
s they're so
disabled guy on my
scared.
website.
They're so scared to be around just a guy in a wheelchair. This guy, I coulda told this guy to pay for my groceries and he would have done for it. He was like,
I
"Oh,
mean, seriously. I like
I'm sorry, sir.
I'm sorry,
I'm
sir.
sorry,
Yeah.
sir. I need to."
Mhm. It would be my privilege to pay for your
I
groceries.
thought, yeah, the guy's like thinking like, "Oh, I thought I was gonna do a little bit, do the little thing where I just bump into the back of somebody's knees or something and
It's a
just
good bit. It is a
see
good
him turn
bit.
around and be like, apologize to me
Yep.
because
It's a good bit.
they think less of me or whatever and they're
Mhm.
uncomfortable."
And listen, man, I get it. I get it. I know I've been this. I'm probably. I did things in such a weird way that this was the first time this guy had probably ever seen somebody put groceries in his cart and pay for them. Like that's so abnormal and weird that I can see why he would try to, occupy that space. But I don't know. I should have just unloaded at him there in the store.
Yeah,
I was
not
having a nice
unlike
conversation with the
me,
lady about our dogs.
I'm respectful. I'm respectful to people of all different backgrounds. I'll chew them out all the same. I'd say,
Yeah, you're always chewing people out. When's the last
get
time
the
you
fuck
chewed
out of my
somebody out?
space." Have somebody do that to me at the grocery store next time, and you'll see.
You'll see. You'll see. Everyone's just so polite in New Jersey. That's what I've heard.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so on the beach, Rose and Bernard are bickering over the recent arrival of Dharma Initiative food drops. Bernard posits that the other survivors had already given up on being rescued. And man, uh, I gotta
Bernard,
agree. He has rescue mindset.
it's good. It is smart though. I appreciate Bernard. I've been
Dude,
ragging
same.
on him, but yeah, I appreciate him big time. Thank you.
I agree. Yeah, like he's doing exactly what we were talking about like last month where we're like, let's get people together, let's come up with some ideas. And like there's a little bit I said last week, like there's this force field around the people on the beach or the survivors that are like, oh, kind of just let things happen to them. And he's doing a little bit like, let's go, let's get it
Yeah.
together, man. We gotta focus up. Do you guys realize that we're lost on an island right now? Could we do anything to rectify the situation? And he's, maybe approaching things a little bit aggressively, but he has a point.
Yeah. Has a point.
So Jack approaches Sawyer and Kate to explain his plan for a prisoner exchange.
It's just so funny. Just the main characters are like, fuck this. Don't care about that. let the B team and all of the background characters do their own thing. We're out here, we're out here doing a prisoner exchange
We're
while
doing
they
some.
while they're gonna write SOS. They're gonna get some rocks and write SOS on the beach. We
We're
are
on our
deep in.
Kramer subplot right now.
Yeah, we are thick in it.
Yeah. But
We
we've
have
got some shit you could
hostages.
not possibly comprehend. They're like, "Hey, we're on a stranded desert island. Should we try to like be rescued?" And they're like, "We're doing a prisoner exchange with the guy we found in the hatch." Like, it's so crazy.
Yeah.
Um, but honestly, a pretty good idea. I gotta say, props to Jack for this. I thought it was a good idea. I didn't think of that. He just basically says like, "Oh, the thing that Henry Gale was saying last episode, like, or 2 episodes ago, where if I was in your position, or if I was another, I would send these people into a trap and blah blah blah, and I do an exchange." And Jack is like, "I'm just gonna do that then." I thought it was pretty swagged out, gotta say.
If this was a maybe like a children's TV show or a movie with better like continuity, you would think they'd probably make a connection here of like, hmm, we recently showed people that Jack is quite good at something and he can use that something to get what he wants. Maybe Jack would maybe Jack should propose a game of Texas Hold'em
That's
with
fucking
the
nuts.
with the others.
No, that's not where I thought you were going with that. I thought you were gonna say he was gonna use those skills like he was gonna bluff his way into rescuing people.
Maybe, yeah, honestly, I mean, maybe that's the better thing. This
He
is
goes
an
out there holding
adult
cards up.
adult show. But I'm just calling out in a different venue, I guess, how this show really doesn't care about continuity for a lot of things. I was like, yeah, we saw Jack kind of exhibit a skill. We've seen people exhibit skills, and we're just going to kind of forget about them and do something completely different. Jack's going to go out into the jungle and scream into the abyss at the others, do a prisoner exchange. I'm here.
Man, I would love to watch a documentary or even be a fly on the wall in like writers' rooms and how this actually works. It's such an interesting profession. But like, and I'm just speaking completely. I'm just pulling this completely out of my ass. I have no idea how this goes, but like I can imagine like character sheets like on the wall, of, like the main characters in the writers' room, like note cards of different traits on them, and like we can like pull from them when we want to. They have to fill 24 episodes a season. They did 6 seasons, 24 episodes each
Yeah.
ish, I think, right? Or I don't know, maybe there's different,
Yeah, something
but
like
like they
that.
did a
Yeah.
ton of episodes. And like if you're just like trying to come up with ideas, you got like overall points, but you got like B plots and everything. Like it sounds so interesting to be like going through
It
that.
just it seems like they have sometimes it feels like they had, you know, they probably had the heavy hitter writers, the leads, right? And then they probably got a bunch of like, I don't know what you call them, staff writers or something like that. Just genuinely normal, good
Yeah,
writers that are gonna bring
yeoman.
some ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah. But sometimes they do stuff on the show where it's like they had like Norm Macdonald in the room or something like that, where it's just somebody must have piped up and just said like, "What if it was this stupid thing instead?"
Yeah, I mean, not to do the bring it back to Star Wars again, but like the whole like Star Wars, like the people working on the prequel trilogy, where like everyone just has to automatically defer to George Lucas because he's the center of gravity for everything, and like
Yeah.
every minor thing he says has to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, he talks about the prisoner exchange. Jack invites Kate to accompany him into the jungle, and she agrees to come. Bernard enlists Hurley to gather the survivors for an impromptu meeting. Bernard admonishes the others for losing their will to be rescued, and like we said before, basically agree. Like it's maybe a little aggressive, but they should be trying to do something to be rescued. He, citing the supply plane that must have dropped the Dharma rations, suggests that they create an SOS sign. And while that logic it doesn't quite track, because presumably the you know the plane that drops the Dharma rations must know there are already people on the island, and thus they don't care. They're not going to pick people up. It is a good idea, the SOS sign. But Rose shoots down the plan, dismissing it as giving the others false hope. Bernard asks Charlie and Mr. Echo to help build his SOS sign, but the two men respond that they are too busy building a church.
Yep.
Again, at least Charlie's not like stealing babies, so like whatever.
Yeah. But also funny, like another funny, we are the A team. So we're going to do prisoner exchange. We're just building a church. Go build an SOS sign. Don't care.
Yeah,
Background
seriously.
characters.
Go back to your route. NPC guard ass behavior. Yeah. Bernard, incredulous at the seemingly cavalier attitude the survivors have towards the rescue, storms off. Later, Bernard tells a diminished group a newfangled plan to bring rocks from a field for the SOS. Hurley and Jin express skepticism for Bernard's planning skills. Bernard encounters more apathy when he tries to enlist Sawyer's help, and he reveals to Rose his group has diminished to 4. Bernard and Rose argue, as Rose suggests his managing skills aren't up to par. Later, Bernard and Jin engage in an argument over the placement of the rocks, and Jin is visibly fatigued from the labor, walks away, saying, sorry.
Yep. Management skills definitely not up to par.
Yeah.
Gotta say.
Good idea, bad execution.
Yeah, very bad execution. I feel bad for Jin because Jin.
Yeah, he's the last guy working.
He's the last guy working, but I also feel like it's got to be it's definitely relying on the language gap as well, where all the other A team are off doing other stuff, including his wife, including his own wife at this point, and he's stuck just kind of doing this stuff for Bernard. Probably, probably what I would do if I was I feel like I've been in similar situations where it's like, I don't really know what's going on because I don't understand what people are saying, or I'm just like way out of context. And so I'm just going to be kind of overly like, uh, empathetic or whatever, like
Yeah.
moldable on this until it's really clear that this is stupid, not
I
going
wish they would
anywhere.
cut to his perspective more often. Do like just the Charlie Brown for like what he's
Yeah.
experiencing. There's also
I
a little
wish
bit of like he is like the most like in shape guy I've maybe like ever seen too. That like there's a little bit of like I'm obviously able to do this task, so like more than anybody else, so maybe I should be doing it.
yeah.
I have no idea what, like, I don't know what an S and or an O is, so I don't know what we're doing here, man.
Yeah. I also wish that they would cut to him speaking English like in Hurley's Dream that one time more often. I know it's like
Yeah.
a kind of a cheap gag, but like
No, it's
I
good.
just love that in movies and things like that. It's very funny.
You fucking idiots. Like, man, okay, another prediction. And admittedly, this is,
This is
I'm
all in
not,
Jin's mind.
well, that's pretty good. I'm not at the top of my game right now, but prediction. Jin knows what's going on before anybody else, and nobody can understand him. And for some reason, Son's not around to translate. He's like,
He just kind of figured it all out and then
yeah.
just been
He's
ignoring
like,
him.
obviously, this was happening. They're like, Jin, pipe down, big dog.
So-
Let the adults handle it.
like the Claire, bigger version of the Claire situation of
Yeah. Bigger,
Claire,
interesting.
chill.
You're
Yeah.
ranking. You're ranking. Okay.
Chill out. Okay, folks, we got to figure out what's going on with
Yeah.
Claire. She's being crazy.
Rode derides Bernard's plan to Locke, but Locke is a little bit more sympathetic. Locke tells her that he's done with the hatch, but Rose is in turn skeptical of that. Locke tells her that Jack has diagnosed a 4-week period of healing, and Rose says, "You and I both know it's not going to take that long." This is, for the people who weren't paying attention, perhaps myself, in reference to the airport flashback revealing that Rose knows Locke was in a wheelchair before the plane crash. It's like, oh, okay, she's specifically calling that out.
They
She
don't
knows
actually
they both
show.
healed.
Wikipedia man doesn't tell you this, but they don't show that flashback until after she says this. Quite a while after she says this, but
Thank you
yes.
for reminding me of that.
if you're sharp. If you're sharp, you would know
If you're
what's going
sharp.
on. You
Yeah.
would understand, "Ooh, she must have seen Locke ahead of time."
Bernard continues to work on the SOS alone. Rose brings him some supper and offers him an apology for lying about being healed by Isaac. Rose says that she was nevertheless healed because after the crash, she couldn't feel the illness inside of her anymore. She tells him that the island healed her and tells him with absolute certainty that she knows who or what healed her. Bernard
Which
realizes that,
is
yeah?
funny. Like, that's about as I guess it's what you have to write to make it clear in case your audience didn't believe it already, but, like, you know, if you hadn't seen Locke, right, trying to show that her cancer's healed, like, it's a good storyline, but you do run into a little bit of a conundrum, I imagine, as a writer of, like, well, how do we get her to know this, right? And you're kind of just left with what in reality would be just like the woo feeling of like, I just know. I just know it about myself. I know that the cancer is gone, which is good enough and it makes the point. But
But
yeah,
it makes the point, and then crucially, this next part, I'm going to hold this as I say this. Bernard realizes that Rose doesn't want to be rescued from fear of regaining the illness away from the island. And upon his revelation, he tells Rose that he won't leave the island or try to continue the sign. So, sort of like a few episodes ago where we saw Jin take on faith that Sun is pregnant and hasn't been cheating on him, and he says it's a miracle.
yeah.
Bernard takes on Rose's word. He trusts her enough. The relationship is good enough. He loves her enough to just believe her. And that sort of faith in, you know, these men's respective partners is the signal of love that like helps their arc in that episode a little bit.
Mm.
Like we've seen them being an asshole earlier, or if prickly, ranging from prickly to like outright abusive in Jin's case. But like the point is that the guys like believe them without evidence, and I thought it was a very touching moment. I thought it was a really sweet moment that like we didn't go through the like it is like you said it, I believe you. Very touching.
That's okay. That's interesting to me because I can't tell if there's a distinction between how you read that and how I read it. Because the way I would put it is that I felt like in both of those situations, you as the viewer are like I guess I as the viewer saw it as Jin is convinced in um Jin is convinced of a fact, not that Jin is engaging in, kind of like faith in his wife. You know, they kind of they're very close to each other, but I took it as like, this isn't like a thing of like whatever you say. Like I think some people genuinely think at times they're like, okay, I don't believe this thing that maybe my partner is telling me in any sort of like scientific sense or whatever, but I'm going to like I'm just going to trust them. I'm going to like make myself um kind of change that opinion, right? Like sheer will of like I'm just going to tell myself that this is what I believe because I have faith in them. But that's distinct to me. That's like a distinct feeling from uh actually like believing at your core of the fact of the matter or whatever. And I felt like in both of these situations with Jin and with Bernard, they're convinced almost in a more like like objective or like like scientific way. Like their wives could be gone tomorrow and they would still believe it as a you
Sure.
know universal fact.
But you say they're both of the same kind with
I
Jin
think
and Bernard. Or are you
I think
saying,
they're both the same. Yeah. But I don't read it so much as like I know you've said that you think of it as a like a kind of a touching exchange between them in
oh,
both of
I think
their, and I guess I don't
I think
read it
there is a
as
third
very
option. I think
touching.
there is the third. I do think that both Jin and Bernard believe their wives like for this like to be like genuinely justified true belief
Yeah.
in this way. There is another one that is still a sign of love that is still like, you know what? I've been making a big deal about getting off this island and I like want to try to save you and stuff, but like I understand that my preferences are not your preferences. You don't want this and you would prefer to live the rest of your life on this island, and I am setting aside my preferences to getting off this island and trying to save you because this is what you want. That's a sign of love too. That would be a sign of love if he didn't actually
Mm.
believe her, but just like set aside his own preferences to like go with what his wife did. I don't think that's what's going on. I think he does actually believe her,
Oh, okay.
but that would still be both of those are acts of love. I think.
Okay, I think that's the distinction then, because I think I see the one that you just explained of like, I don't quite believe this, but I'm going to set that aside because I care for you. I see that as like as a big act of love. And I see what I think happened of like being convinced of the fact as kind of like it can appear loving, but kind of like independent of
That's true. That's true.
love. Because like,
That's an
well,
interesting point.
I'm kind of convinced of this, so it's
Whether or
nice
not
that we're
you
in
think it or
harmony on it.
not, I believe
Yeah,
this now.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. I think it happens to line up that in both cases they believe it and they love them. For now, that's what I think.
sure, sure. Okay,
But yeah, interesting point.
love hour,
This
love
is very
hour on the
interesting. I
show.
like this. Yeah, this is fun. So, as touching as this moment is, I will say someone else should consider completing that sign. It's a good idea.
Yeah. But I guess
Right?
this guy's kind of they kind of just leave it like, well, all these other people gave up, oddly enough. Like,
Right?
why? I mean, maybe you don't want to work with Bernard, but like
Right.
probably go
Someone
back and
else
do it.
maybe chip every once in a while when you have time, throw a rock down.
Throw a rock down, yeah. But it's kind of almost like, yeah, Bernard's the last guy on the island who even cared about this shit, so we're all good now.
I guess someone should pick up the torch,
Yeah.
run with it. So inside the hatch. Oh my god, we have so much to get through. Okay. Meanwhile, John Locke attempts to remember and to draw the writing he saw on the blast doors last episode, but to no avail. Jack enters the armory to change Henry Gale's bandages and to interrogate him. Jack tells Henry that he plans to cross the line of the others and tell them that Henry is a captive. Jack suggests that Henry could be used in trade for Walt, but Henry replies, "They'll never give you Walt." Anna Lucia offers to accompany Jack in his attempt to negotiate with the others. Anna gives Jack a gun and advises him to take someone with him. Locke tries to speak to Henry through the armory door, asking him whether or not he entered the numbers into the computer. However, Henry doesn't respond, only smirking to himself. Once again, Michael Emerson giving a great performance. But yeah, moving this plot along a little bit.
Basically almost never gets to do anything physical. I mean, I guess a little bit of the stuff with Locke, but he's mostly just sitting there, arms tied up all the time. So
It's a real
great performance.
yeah. And I wonder if like I'd love to interview him or like an actor, but like does that help if you like limit your tools available, like all you can do is that? I don't know, but like that's cool. Yeah. So okay, out in the jungle, Jack and Kate trek through the trees. Kate keeps trying to get something going between the two of them, and Jack says, "I only ask you because they don't want you. It's a really funny moment.
Yeah.
Like, you really fumbled that, dude.
And she says, I think she's the one who says it, but she's like, we're both damaged goods. And it's like, come on. Come on, you guys are being a little weird right
You
now.
are being a little weird. You're being a touch odd. Kate notices a doll on the ground and reaches to pick it up despite Jack's frantic cries to stop. And I'll say this is Wikipedia editorializing because his cries are not exactly too frantic. He just kind of goes, "Hey, stop," like softly, like from a distance. In the moment, I was thinking like, I would yell at her. I mean, I've perfected a very urgent yell myself to keep my dogs away from stuff that I don't want them to get into that I would use in this situation. But he's just like, Kate, don't. She just picks it up.
Yeah. I mean, come on. They've all been on the Magic Island for a couple months now. You should know better.
She should. She picks up the doll, and both she and Jack become ensnared in a net. Sexily.
Yep.
That's not Wikipedia. That's me. I'm
A little
saying
bit
it.
of fan service for people. What if we just put them in a net?
They determine the trap is Danielle Rousseau's due to its lower level of sophistication and attempt to free themselves. I mean,
It's that French dumbass. She couldn't make a better. This net sucks, so it's her.
Yeah. Yeah, says the guy caught in the net right now.
Yeah.
I will say they do need to do something to make the like a Kate Jack relationship feel remotely compelling. We need to like circle back to this a little bit just because they're sort of like the main two, man and woman. We can't just lean on that forever. So we need to have a little bit of just like them pressed up against each other for a little bit physically.
Ooh, next week on what channel is what network is this again? Can't
ABC.
remember. ABC. Next week on ABC, Jack and Kate inside the net for the whole hour. The steamiest episode of Lost yet.
What's that called when they do that? Like a one room sort of situation, like a really confined space. Capsule. Thank you.
Capsule episode. Yes, I always think of the Seinfeld episode where they walk around the parking lot, which sucks. That's the worst episode.
Everyone loves saying that's the best episode.
Really? Wrong.
Kate reaches around Jack to get the gun, and they try to shoot the rope, suspending them in the air. But Jack succeeds. And I gotta say, this moment, as well as the last episode that we watched, where Jack is good at poker, have really made me respect him a lot more. Where he's like actually a good shot at the rope. Like, that's pretty cool.
I feel like he got lucky though. Is he really a good shot? It's luck, right? He wasn't a good shot before.
He hasn't shot anything yet.
Is that is that really the first time he shot a bullet?
I think so.
No.
Yeah.
What, he shot the FBI guy.
Yeah, he killed him. He got the kill shot. He's 2 for 2.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, Sawyer's the one who missed.
That'd be pretty good if he walked off into if in that episode he had walked off into the jungle like 100 yards away and then like, where did that come from?
Like from the cliffs. Yeah. He's like, hold on, let me try something. He's doing the Buster Scruggs with the mirror up. He's like going over his shoulder. Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
I think they should add Buster Scruggs to the island character cast. I think that would be a good addition.
I guess it does make sense logically that Jack might be a good. I mean, in TV logic,
he's got steady hands.
He's got a steady hand. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, they didn't have him move the dynamite earlier.
That's true.
That was
But that's also kind of makes sense. As we've discussed, doctors should not be doing all this dangerous
But
stuff.
he was just standing right there. He was like still right
standing there.
There's no way out of how stupid that was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now free, Jack and Kate continue to march through the jungle through the heavy rain. Zoe brought this up, and I think it's curious. I wonder, should we be paying attention to when and where it rains? Like it was raining here in this little clearing and not back on the beach. I mean, I know that like storms move over area, but like I feel like this has happened a couple times. Jack asks Kate to explain her earlier comment about the lack of sophistication of the net. Kate tells him about their expedition with Claire to the other hatch. Jack and Kate arrive at the place where his standoff with the others occurred. He calls out into the jungle, challenging them to show themselves. He becomes increasingly animated as he calls for the others, but receives no response. They kind of
Very
sit down.
animated. Just chill out.
Yeah, he's being. This was like, okay, classic Jack. Jack stuff.
Classic Jack.
They get to
They're
sit
off.
down on the log for a little bit, chilling out. And Kate apologizes for kissing Jack, but Jack reveals that he is not sorry about the moment. He reveals, like a little, like Yu-Gi-Oh, like, "Fing, I'm not sorry."
Not sorry. Yeah.
A man comes.
Have you ever? Have you? I'm assuming you haven't played the game, but um, the Japanese like debate or lawyer game. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes,
It's
it's
like
not Ace
people using
Ventura,
like
but it's what's it called? It's like
Ace lawyer or something like that.
yeah,
Ace.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's kind of like that, where you just counterpoint. I'm not
Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Uh,
A man comes stumbling out of the jungle carrying a torch. He falls to the ground in front of the two and is turned over, revealing him to be an unconscious Michael Dawson, baby.
Michael
What?
Dawson. We're back on a first and last name basis.
I missed this guy. I missed him. I missed his performance mostly.
Yep. Well, what else are you missing outside of the performance? His
I don't
beautiful
really like
face.
Michael himself,
Oh, okay.
like the character. Like there, I
Yeah.
mean, like for a while there was some stuff that I wasn't all about, but yeah, Harold Perrineau.
Parano.
Doing
Yeah,
a good
but
job.
you said you mostly missed his performance. So I'm just wondering what else makes up what you missed about him? His face, his
Sure,
charisma,
his Riz.
his
Yeah,
vibe. Yeah.
his vibe. Wait, did Jin get the handcuff off?
Yeah, they did that a long time ago. They snip it
Oh
off
yeah.
him and he shows it off to somebody.
No, really?
Yeah, he shows it off to Michael, remember? They snip it off and then he like holds it up. And Michael's like, nice.
No.
Yep. I think it was when they came back from the boat
How'd they
after
snip it
they
off him?
with snippers with big clippers.
I don't remember this.
Pretty sure. Take a look at Jin's hand next time you see him.
Okay.
Next time he drops by your place, ask him to see that wrist of his.
Hey, you got that thing off of you? You still got that? What's the Far Side comic? It's like, hey, you still got that thing that looks like a Buick right on the side of your head? Bernard and Rose's story is legitimately touching to me. It's very sweet. And at the end of the episode, when Rose and Bernard's story concludes, there's a sweet like montage of the survivors on the beach living their lives together. Hurley and Libby are sitting together, and at first I didn't realize that Hurley was making shadow puppets with his hands. I thought he was just showing Libby like what he can do with his hands. He's just like, check it out. I can do
toddler mode.
yeah,
Check it out.
seriously.
Shadow boxing.
Yeah. He's like,
I can do
huh? And like we'll get into it a little bit in the next episode, but I mean, toddler mode is pretty accurate. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5.
This is 3 for me.
Okay. I think Jack is slowly being rehabilitated in my eyes.
He does have a good. You picked, I don't know. I'm saying you picked the good 4
These
episodes.
next
for us to
couple
watch.
episodes to watch.
Great choices of them. Yeah, he's getting into it, getting back to normal ish in a good way.
Mhm.
Normal people, not normal Jack. What is it? What's the Jack? Not normal Jack. What's the other one? Is it just simple Jack?
Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
They should add him to the island too. We're bringing him and Buster Scruggs in. We're airdropping both of them in. Very good. Terrified that we're like 56 minutes. This is longer than the episode itself. We somehow talked about this show. All right. This episode is brought to you by the two of us. Thank you so much for listening to the podcast. It's a lot of work to put these episodes together. So if you'd like to support us, please consider subscribing to our YouTube channel and to our Patreon, patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. All right. Second episode here, season 2, episode 22 for the road. And so right off the bat, I was a little bit annoyed that we were going to get a flashback episode for Ana Lucia, but I gotta
Wait,
say,
the episode's called 22 for the road?
no, sorry, it's season 2, episode 20, colon, 2 for the road.
2 for the road. Okay.
Yep.
That's 22 for the road, which is, feel like they don't do that. I feel like they don't give you
I mean,
for the
that is
road
that is
at a
going
bar
Christian
anymore.
mode. Yeah.
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 Bartender 22.
I will have 22 to go. We can't do any to go. What are you talking about? This is a bar. Yeah.
Not
yeah,
in New Orleans. Did you know that?
You and your wanting to drink in public laws.
I went to New Orleans and I didn't really like New Orleans that much, but it felt, freedom to get
I
one
don't
to
think
go.
you needed to say you didn't like it that much. It's just a little rude there.
Well, I'm just sticking up for the alcohol part of it to say, in spite of not being a huge fan of the city, I
I
really
didn't like the
food.
people or the culture, but I loved that you could just get trashed on this street.
Nope. Okay, whatever. Let's keep Lost Island. Back to Lost Island. I won't distract us anymore.
So yeah, I was like, oh, right off the bat we get like, this is an Ana Lucia flashback.
Yeah.
But I will say, I'll put cards on the table. The show completely saved it by the end of the episode. What an episode. Okay, so flashbacks. They begin directly after Ana Lucia shoots Jason McCormick, I think is his full name, shoots Jason in the episode called Collision. Upon arriving at the police station the following day, Ana Lucia's mother, Teresa Cortez, is suspicious of her daughter and questions her, causing Ana Lucia to quit the police department.
Mother Teresa.
Yo.
Another Catholic connection.
Yo. While working at an airport, she meets Christian Shepherd, who hires her as a bodyguard for his trip to Australia. And in probably the best scene ever filmed for TV.
Yeah. It's so awesome. I messaged you about it right when I was watching it. Who are you? I'm a doctor. I lost my license drinking on the job.
It was so good.
Nice to meet you.
All right. Yeah, my son ratted me out for drinking on the job. Oh, dude, Christian is so, like, seriously, the guy who plays Chris is doing such a good job. This is an actually like great performance. Like, there's funny parts of it, or like but there's real juice to it where he's just, yeah, I got fired for being a doctor because my son ratted me. I was drinking on the job. I'm pathetic. Let's go to Australia, and like pulls it off. He does. He decides that the two of them should use fake names because she like agrees to it. And Ana Lucia calls him Tom. He calls her Sarah, which is whack. But I thought it would be very funny if he was like drunk and pointing at her and goes, "I'm going to call you Alejandra Maria Guadalupe." Just like... But he doesn't. He calls her Sarah, which is his son's wife's name. Who can say which is worse?
Odd. Yes. Which is, yeah.
One night, Ana Lucia and a drunk Christian go to a home, like after like a 4-day bender. Like Christian like shows up at Ana Lucia's door and is like, "It's time." And I gotta say, like I could watch. I was not mad at Ana Lucia in these flashbacks. Like this, it worked. It worked in these, and I would watch the two. Like this is a good pairing. I would watch a whole show of like, just like a fucking tanked Christian Shepherd
detective
and Ana Lucia
team.
Yeah, like drive around Australia to like pull off like weird missions like this. This was really great.
Yeah.
She takes him to a house where Christian demands to see his daughter from a blonde woman who answers the door. And I was like, do we recognize this? And we don't. We don't. He's like, let me speak to my daughter. So we know Jack has a half, at least half? Yeah, half sister. After seeing that the argument is getting out of control, Anna intervenes and pulls Christian back into the car. Ana Lucia eventually gets tired of Christian's antics and leaves him at a bar where they briefly encounter Sawyer when Christian opens his car door. Anna goes to the airport about to board flight 815 and calls her mother, apologizing and telling her that she wishes to make things right.
The Sawyer thing is very funny because, like, there are, as we have realized real time quite a few times, if you're just casually watching, there are a lot of, these flashbacks where you realize, oh, people have crossed paths before. Um, and there are some that are subtle, more subtle than others.
Yeah.
And then there are ones like this where it's just like Sawyer
There he
just like
is.
bumps into the
Yeah.
driver's side
He's like,
window.
hey, I'm walking here.
Yeah, taking up like half the screen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would be Sawyer from the show Lost on the island. Lost.
And because that's the bar that like then Sawyer goes in and sees him.
Presumably.
And makes yeah.
Yeah.
So on the island in the present, Ana Lucia starts questioning Henry Gale in the hatch, but suddenly he attacks her and is only stopped when John Locke knocks him unconscious. Locke asks Henry why he attacked Ana Lucia, but has never tried to hurt him. Henry says that Locke is one of the good ones. I've been saying this the whole time.
Is that a racist motivation? Not clear who he's talking about yet. Have you considered that? Because we had a bad run-in with the guy we've been calling Zeke. And now Henry attacks Ana Lucia and then says that to Locke. Have you considered that they are possibly on a white nationalist island?
Because, who is the guy that they talked to before? Who is that guy's name? Like the other that Ana Lucia kills. Goodwin. Right?
Yeah.
Good. There we go. I finally cracked the name. He says you're not one of the good. He says you're not one of the good ones either. So like we've gotten two people talk about how Ana Lucia is not one of the good ones, and so it could be that. But they have taken Walt.
True.
Okay. Although Libby advises Ana Lucia not to try to get revenge on Henry, she is determined and asks Sawyer for a gun, but is rejected. And Sawyer has actually a great line here. She's like, give me the gun. And he says, I ain't gonna gimme you nothing. That was very good. Ana Lucia returns, and after Sawyer still refuses to give her a gun, she has sex with him. She's able to distract him long enough to steal the gun.
Interesting. Okay.
Sawyer finally finds someone to match his freak. I'm 100 years old. Meet his freak! Jack and Kate return with Michael. Michael wakes up and tells everyone in the hatch that he tracked down the others and found out that they are living worse off than the survivors.
Michael wakes up like big time,
He does.
Like, he kind of goes
went from like completely
0
out
to
of it,
1.
Yeah.
And then he just wakes up. He's like, guys, you will not believe this.
Here's a bunch of information. Yeah. He says, and I gotta say, even knowing what happens by the end of this episode, I kind of don't believe him in the moment. He's like, I've been watching them. They live like animals. They're, whatever. But I'm like, they're hatched up. What are you talking about? We've already seen the hatch with Kate and Rousseau and Claire. Michael also says that once he is healthy, he will organize a rescue mission to reclaim Walt. After Locke and Jack begin to plan a rescue mission for Walt, they realize that they need more guns and go to Sawyer, who realizes that Ana Lucia has stolen his. And again, Jack approaches Sawyer so crazy in this moment. He just like walks up, grabs the script from his hand that he's reading, and burns it.
Yeah, very mean. I don't know like why it gets to me, but I just every time Sawyer's reading now, he's got a new pair of glasses and he is
There
just
was
I
a
mean, he
whole
really
thing about
should
getting him the right pair.
put a library together, at this point because he's got so many. I mean, they've got kind of a library down in the hatch, and I don't know if that's where he's pulling things from, but like I don't think so because he's reading this manuscript. So like probably
No,
came
we've
from the
seen it
plane.
before. Yeah, we've seen the manuscript before, and it's called like, gosh, I don't remember what it's called, but it's like it takes two to tango, something like that. But
Sure.
he says it's a mystery, and he is like just about to solve it, and Jack burns it right there, like and ruins it. And I wonder
Saw.
if that's what.
It's Saw. He missing the last page of the script for Saw, the movie Saw. That would have come out then.
So what are you talking about?
Never mind.
Okay.
Go ahead.
He like burns it. I haven't seen Sauce. I like. Is
Oh,
there
okay.
like a thing where like they miss
Yeah,
the
at
last
the
page?
end, last page saying, yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Shout out to the listeners who've seen it. But I wonder if that was do you think that was or I have a hard time saying do you think because I know you've seen it, but I wonder if that was a message to viewers like you're not going to get an ending. Like or like we're burning it so you're not going to like it being a script is a little little bit meta and like I'm just about to figure it out and like we burn it like it's I'm taking it to as that.
Well, I haven't seen the end of the show, remember? So couldn't say.
Okay. Well, then what do you think? Do you think it was a message to viewers to think that like, listen, this isn't going to end in like you're not going to like solve the mystery?
I did not think that until you said it. And now I'm open to it.
Okay. Nice. Elsewhere, Hurley has planned a romantic picnic for himself and Libby, but Hurley gets lost and leads them back to the survivor's beach. He gets lost.
He kind of doesn't make it anywhere. He doesn't really get lost. He just kind of doesn't make it anywhere.
Yeah. They should have made it a little more clear that it was like nervous energy for being around Libby rather than just him being like totally incompetent or something.
Yeah.
Because I thought it was a little unfair to him just to be like, what's left and right? I don't know up from down. I'm just a big dumb baby.
Yeah.
And he should have been like, yeah, just too nervous about fumbling Libby. There, he realizes that he forgot to pack a blanket, and Libby offers to come back to the hatch to retrieve one. She also suggests that Hurley ask Rose and Bernard for some wine for the picnic, a suggestion that Hurley is delighted to hear. And on the beach, Jin
He
gives
is
them a big thumbs up.
stoked about that. Yeah. They're kind of throwing Jin under the bus. I feel like there's this little microaggression as well. Like when they appear and he's like, when they stumble onto the beach and Hurley like fakes it and is like, ta-da, this is the beach. And she's like, we're on our beach. Jin is right there. And then they like pan to him and he's just like,
Hey
what's up?
guys.
And again, you're just imagining kind of Charlie Brown voice inside of his head. What are these guys up to? Yet again. Hello. Yeah.
But Jin knows what's going on. He knows
He
that
knows what's
Hurley's
going
trying
on.
to
Yeah.
he's
So they
trying to
treat him a little.
smash,
They treat him a little goofy,
as they say. Yeah.
Like you said, Jin, most fit guy on the beach, I feel like underrated for that. If Jin spoke English, maybe Kate would be all over Jin.
He's married, Ben. What
Well,
a
that's true.
scandalous suggestion.
Jack's been married.
Been married. He's not currently married.
Well, he has a ring.
No, he doesn't.
I thought he had the ring on.
Nope.
Okay, never mind.
He's fair
Continue.
game. Open for business. Meanwhile, back in the hatch, Michael asks Ana Lucia what is going on. And she explains a few things. 1, Sawyer has all the guns. 2, Jack, Locke, and Kate have left to get the guns. And 3, they currently have one of the others. Henry in captivity inside the armory. Sorry, I said that so weird. But yeah, they have Henry captivity. She mentions that Henry tried to kill her earlier in the day, and that although she was about to kill him in return, she was not able to pull the trigger. Michael offers to do it himself, saying like, like I've seen them, like they're animals, I'll do it. But after she hands him the gun, he's like, okay, give me the combination to the safe, and I'll get in. She tells him what it is. He turns around and shoots her dead.
And the crowd at home erupts. Thank goodness she's hopefully gone.
I'm instantly regretting any of the times that I had like maybe said on my podcast, why hasn't anybody shot Anna Lucia? Like, Jesus, I guess they did. God damn it.
I know you were probably sad. You're like, oh, if only it was Charlie. Why
Seriously,
couldn't Charlie have been there?
seriously. I'm okay with saying that. I'll say that. I won't regret it if he ends up being shot.
Should have been
Yeah.
Charlie, Jack, Anna Lucia sitting on the couch talking to Michael. Thank
Triple
goodness she could have some peace on this island now.
Mm-hmm. And then Libby walks in with the blankets, startles Michael, causing him to shoot her too. That was a real like, ooh.
Maybe this wasn't intentional. Maybe this wasn't a targeted hit from the audience at home on Anna Lucia.
Yeah, I mean it was smart of the writers to, because like that the writers knew what they were doing, and like yeah, Anna Lucia's been annoying very recently. She killed Shannon, and like I don't know, she's been a bit of a frustrating thorn, not doing a lot to like help the fan favorites here, and so like killing her isn't going to be the biggest deal, and it's a TV show. Sometimes you lose people, but then like Libby gets caught too. It's like, ugh.
I gotta say, I don't like Libby. I don't like Libby that much. Kind of annoying.
How's she annoying?
No, just because she's like a background character that hasn't really made like like I don't have any reason to like you.
She's an innocent, but she's innocent.
Not she's innocent. I
Yeah.
agree with that. But I'm just saying that like, which I think is the right thing. When they kill her, it's kind of like killing one of the Steves, you know?
No.
Kind of.
No,
There's only a step up. I mean,
she's not a main character.
She's not a main character. But she wouldn't be anything if she wasn't.
The whole point of a Steve is that they're,
But she wouldn't be anything if not for Hurley to us.
I don't like what you're saying here. I don't like this.
I
know. I think that they were there's no reason to be like relishing in either of these women's death, frankly, Ben. But
okay, yeah, I guess I was. I guess
I was relishing.
Yeah, okay, both of them. Not really both of them.
Whoa. No, but like I mean, like but like emotionally, there could be just like watching a TV show is like, oh good, maybe somebody I didn't like got shot, but like the point, like to really make like this an irredeemable act of Michael to do is to like, we're gonna get somebody who like, well, there's no reason you can think of like that Libby deserved this, even in like really mercenary.
Sure. I get what I mean. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah. Michael then walks into the armory where Henry is being held. Instead of shooting Henry, Michael shoots himself in the arm. And so this, because of our recording schedule, this is the last episode I've seen for a while, and I won't be seeing it I won't be seeing any more for about a month. But so this is quite the cliffhanger to leave me on. But this is my theory about this. It seems pretty obvious that he's pulling the exact same move that like Saeed did earlier, where he kills two people and then like shoots himself to make it look like Henry got away, or that Henry did it, and it's like he had some deal with the others that this was how he's gonna get Walt back, something like that. But yo, what a crazy way to end the episode.
Yeah.
Crazy ending. I'm actually gonna miss Anna Lucia. I think that she started out super dislikable, and then like, okay, the flashbacks with Christian really redeemed her for me. Like those were so much fun to watch. I watched a whole show of her and Christian, but so maybe there's still hope for. Well, we probably won't see too many of those, but 4 out of 5. This is a 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it's a 4. It's a 4 for me too.
Very good episode. So that's gonna be it for the show today. If you like the show and want to hear more from Ben and I, please consider joining our Patreon, patreon.com/Dr. Skeleton. Feel free to write into the show, drskeletonsourschool@gmail.com. Next week, we're watching season 2 episodes 21 and 22. Thank you so much for listening. Catch you next week. Goodbye.